Hello everyone and welcome. In this video, we're going to take a look at solving a cryptogram for a current treasure hunt that's out here in the United States. It's a little different than what I've generally done in my videos. However, I will be using a Google Sheet in order to decrypt this cryptogram. So if you're interested in actually doing this treasure hunt that is starting in November 12th, even though, yes, it's in the future than what I'm putting this video out, it's that there are some people who've actually gotten early copies and have shared a couple of the puzzles here and there on different discords and things like that. I'll be sure in the description to include some of the links to, I guess, the profiles that then have Discord. So it's kind of a link to get to the link to get to the place that have some of these pages. But I'm going to share one that I, as well as there's others who have solved that said puzzle to decrypt that cryptogram to get the message. So if you are interested, I definitely recommend pre-ordering it or just ordering the book. It's called There's Treasure Inside by John Collins Black. It's a treasure hunt that has, well, as it says here on their website that I just kind of took, the treasureinside.com, that has millions of dollars of stuff. There's all sorts of different things like Pokemon cards that are super rare. There are different like old artifacts, pieces like just giant things of gold. And the one here is actually going to be with, if you solve it and get to the treasure box, would be Bitcoins. So there's a ton of stuff that, and it sounded like from the author, which again, go to the website, check it out, get a copy if you're interested. Basically wanted to have all sorts of treasures that would, make it interesting for every type of person. Like there are also some sports cards that I am not as interested in versus like Pokemon cards or something like that. But again, there's a lot of different options for a lot of different people. And, maybe that's what would motivate you to check it out. So in any case, There's Treasure Inside is the book. Now in there's actually 5 treasure boxes that will be included within it. There's the lion's share, which is the largest. And I believe you need the entire majority of the book to do that, like some 200 something pages, and there's clues on all of the pages that you have to get, and that's going to be worth the most. There's a Forest Fen box, which I won't get into that too much, but that's another hunt called Forest Fen, and it's a tribute to that hunt. And if you know that one, it's actually, there might be some clues and hints from that. Not 100% sure. The Pokemon box, the Past and Future, which is the one that we'll be looking at today, and then the Chain, I should have looked at the pronunciation, Footpath box. And that's just a large, I want to say a hike or a path that has 2,000 miles. Probably should have also researched that before doing this video, but whatever. So there's 5 different treasures inside this one treasure hunt book. So, again, one might be more interesting to you than the others, and you might just want to get started. So here in the Past and Future box, and here's the page. Again, there's a chapter on this, so there are more information. It's kind of a story of it. And so this isn't everything, but this is at least the puzzle that we'll be looking at, the cryptogram. There was a word search, and, if you want to get this photo and, work on it, that's fine. There's probably something more that it has to do with it. But in any case, there's a story, enjoyed doing puzzles with his grandpa, things like that, and then made a cryptogram here. So the text is up here a little bit bigger. I'll have it on the Google spreadsheet as well. So, I'm going to go continue on just to explain what a cryptogram is. But again, you'll have access to this text too if you watch the video and or look at the description. So cryptogram is kind of this short quote or something that's been encrypted by taking each letter and substituting it with another letter. Sometimes it's also like numbers as well. So I made something here, and this is saying the same thing. So, KHOR, and basically I've substituted what it should be with the letter with a different one. And sometimes people do it, like I remember on cereal boxes, it would be like, figure what this is out. And so like number 7 would be the 7th letter of the alphabet. So H, and then 4 would be 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is E, and so on. So hello world would be if you decrypt this to figure out what exactly is that message. And so there was the text, they wrote it, and then they substituted the letters. It's not always as simple as this, and this one is not that simple, where it's just like you move it down, I don't know how many times this was, like, 5 times for K, I don't know, well, K games before, move them all back in the exact way. This one, they were switching out all 26 letters with different random letters. So it gets a little more complicated, but it also, there's even more complex puzzles like this. Let's take a look at this spreadsheet here that I made. So to start off with, I kind of made it so that you could make different verses, because there's of course different cryptograms. And what happens is you put the text in here. I did it by line. Note, an important thing, which I did not do earlier, was double check and like triple check, quadruple check to make sure you have the correct letters in the correct spots. First time I did this, I did not, and it made it harder than it should have been, because everything was working except for a couple of words, and it's because I messed it up. It was like I switched an L for an I or something like that. So what happens here is that it'll be split. You can see here, it's kind of this, basically splits by each one. And so as you go through, it'll split. There's, a space there. It's, a space, and goes from there. And again, I kind of made this so if you have a different cryptogram you want to put in here, you totally could. Or if you want to encrypt something, so you take, you make a puzzle and then you want to switch it, you could do that as well. The next is this decoder, and this will kind of show you the different spots for it. So, this is essentially just normal from how they had it. And then if you wanted to, you can switch it. I have like 2 is going to be numbers, 3 is going to be 1 off. So T goes to U, like U would go to V, V would go to W, and so on and so forth. And then if you go to 4, it would go, U, V, and so on. And so they all just continue to get adjusted like that. And so, again, that's kind of the main page that you'll look. And then here is the data. And basically what is going on here is that this first one is going to be the lookup value. So anytime that there's an A, it's going to return, if it's 1, an A. So it's going to stay the exact same. That's where when I switch it to 2, it's going to switch it to the numbers, or that second row. So 2, now it's numbers. And then 3, for example, it's going to switch an A to a B. And then the B is going to get switched to a C, and C to a D, and D to E, and so on. And again, all of these are going to be in that same order. And then at the very end, basically I have it here so you can adjust it, which is what would be required for this puzzle to solve it. So again, let's go to that very last one, 29, and it's going to show up the same. And what you can do here is you can just adjust something. So for example, this, we have that T at the start. So maybe you want to switch the T with something else. So let's, and just for this example, switch it with a 9. So now anytime there's a T, let's go back here. Now it's going to switch to the 9. And then, maybe you want the U to be an 8. Go back here. Oh, was there any U's? There might have not been a U. Let's do the H then. Switch this back to U. Here we go. 8. And then now all of those are going to be 8s, and so on. I'm just going to undo those actions because I want to keep it like this. But essentially, that's how this works. And again, if you want to either encrypt something or you have your own and you want to mess around with something, you can do it here. I think it's fun and it's enjoyable to actually try to work on this puzzle, like on your own. But again, you can kind of choose to. I will have some spoilers and will actually on this video solve it, but I'll make sure to let you know before I do that. One of the things that I wanted to just kind of talk about, if you are interested in trying to do it yourself, is just to kind of look at some of the things that would make it, easy for you to actually figure out how to do this. The first thing is anytime you see short words like 2-letter words, or if you see something that has like an apostrophe, you can generally figure out those words first and it'll most likely be right. Like there's a lot of 4-letter words, but there's not that many 2-letter words, and there's not many 2-letter words that also has like a, an apostrophe letter. Like for example, there's not one that's going to be like apostrophe Y. So you know that the P is not going to be a Y. Most likely it's going to be an S, or it's going to be a D, like weed, like we would, or it could be like it's, like it is, something like that. So again, it's kind of up to you and how you want to solve it, but usually focusing on those ones first would be helpful. Second, you can see there's a lot of double X's on this one. So there's only a few letters that actually go double like that, especially ending with that. Like it's not going to be like what? It's not going to be double B, I don't think, unless it's like a name. Wouldn't be like double C, stuff like that. Like you can process by elimination quite a few of those ones. So again, those are some of the like helpful hints to get you started with this one. One thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually split the screen, and I'm just going to copy this link, open a new window, paste it, just so that I can work on both of them and you'd be able to see. So I'm doing this split screen here, and I'm just going to have this one here be on the decoder to show what's going on, just so that as I make edits, like again, if I go to this T and make it a 9, that I can see the changes being made there. And again, you could put it on the same page if you wanted. I just figured having it something like this seems like it would be helpful. A couple things that we could do is, with those other hints, focusing on those shorter ones first to then kind of build up into it. Now, another thing that could be helpful is actually counting how many letters are in there. So I might actually just build that here. So here are the letters, and I'm going to do a count. Before I do that, I'm going to go back to the poem words. Let's see. I'm just going to take those, paste them in one cell. It's going to be kind of this like long one, but that's okay. Like, just kind of continues on. And then what I'm going to do is I could take that. So what is this? 10. Poem words D10. And then I'm going to do COUNTIF. And the range is going to be that poem word. I'm going to just do basically row 10, but I'm going to start at B10. I'm going to make sure that this is all locked in so that it's not going to move. And then the second part is the criterion. So I'm going to go back to the data, and I'm going to start with A. Hit enter, and then there. So what this is doing is it should be counting how many there are. And as I mentioned, X was in there quite a bit, so we see a lot of those. It says that W isn't in here at all, so I might just even do a W find, and W is not in there. We can just double check too with A. There should be 1A, and it's found it here, 1A. Yep. So it seems like it's working, and basically this will give you a nice detail of how many times each letter is being used. And I mean, generally speaking, the more common ones would be like S, T. It's been a while since I've done Wheel of Fortune, but I mean, vowels, of course, are going to be higher up in there too. So kind of looking at some S's, T's, or some potential vowels there. And it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 letters that are not going to be used. So those are going to probably be like the X's or the Z's. This is just kind of a helpful thing there. If you wanted to, you could copy this and then paste the value by doing Command-Shift-V, and then you could actually sort it if you want to. So now what you could do is letter num times, and then we could filter it. So create a filter, and then you could have it A to Z, so the 0s to 1s, or Z to A. So like X is being used a lot, so that's going to probably be like a vowel or like an S or a T or something like that. And some of the more uncommon ones like Z will probably be down here to be switched. So there's that. Some other things that you could do to get this set up well is you could go to Format, and let's highlight this one that we're going to work with, Format, Conditional Formatting. Here we have this one, and I think the range got adjusted. Yeah, so let's do AC2. Yeah, basically this is counting, and if it's bigger than 1, it's going to highlight it. So like if we change this to A and there's 2 A's, it's going to make it orange like that. Basically to show, hey, this one's going to be, should be changed. So that's just a nice way to kind of format it in case you are missing one. So I also put this one over here just so that it would be easier to see what it started off with. And yeah, so we can get started. Now, again, this is going to be the place that spoils will actually start happening. So if you want to try solving it yourself, end the video, do what you need to do. You can come back if you want to check it. But I'm going to actually, for these places that I know are going to be 0, I'm just going to go ahead and highlight them red. So I'm just going to make this red. I'm going to copy it. And then if you do Command Option V, you can actually put it on other ones. So for like K, G, and F. So K, that's going to just do the formatting, G and F. I'm making those red because I know they're not going to be ones used. So I might want to switch it for like a Z or something like that. Now, let's start with this LI. And most likely that's going to be like is my guess. Or like to, TO maybe. One of those. And I guess we could look at this one as well, because this one's going to probably be like its. And again, I'm just guessing. So if I switch those to its, R is going to be I. So R, and then I. L is going to be T. And then T will be L. Right? Yeah, yep, okay. And P is going to be S. Then that's going to switch to P. And again, it might not just be a sub like that, but like for this one, I think that like the T is going to be there. I'm pretty sure the S is going to be there. And then the I is going to be there. And I'm just going to bold them to know, like, pretty sure that's going to be the right place. And then if the T is there, we might be able to switch the TO. So R is going to be O. And then where the R is, the O. So now that we have this, we have 2. It's. And then let's see. This one could be IY. So IT, maybe the Y, how common is the Y? 8. It could be an S. I feel like that makes sense. So let's switch S and Y. S. Well, no, we did the S there. So I, Y. In. So maybe N. Let's try that. And then I'm just going to bold that one. That's why I bolded. So looking at those, mosts. I don't know if that's a word though. So we're starting to make those, and now it's kind of like the two, we have all of the little words working out. Now, is it right or wrong? Who knows? We'll see. The X is going to be the next one. So there's a lot of double X's. And then there's also, is that a double, those are double H's. So those are going to have to be something. Looking at those, like it could be E's potentially. Could be, it's kind of interesting that it's also at the end. So let's just try E's So E, I'm going to make that bold. What was that? X. The mosts to. So that looks like jetting between. So we can try the J, B, J. I'll bold the B. So B, T. So D might be W. And then that one's D. It's something, something in between. So those are just kind of looking right. Gene. Well, let's look at some of the bigger ones. So H is pretty big. And I thought I saw, yeah. So it's not going to be H there because there's no double H's. So it's not going to be H. I don't think it's going to be another vowel. Can't be T. L's, have I used L's yet? I don't think I moved L. And then, because there could be double L's, double R's, things like that. But I know that H is wrong at least. So let's try R's. And then L. Oh no. Oh, H. And that made tree. So that kind of seems right. And then this X almost seems it's over in between. So X should be V. So X, V, and then R. I like R there. And then this looks like forest. So L. I did this before, but I like kind of forget which one goes where. So forest. Kind of embarrassing. Okay, what was there? I already forgot. L. Okay. So put the L back up here. And that's green, pretty sure. What was it? J's? And G. Strong. And so P should be M. P. M. And so it starts to kind of just show. So from something to field, I'm pretty sure. So L. A. D and Q. From something to field, from strong to stream. So X should be A. X goes there. Past tree and post to forest green, arrive. U, I think. So U. Arrive you now where beauty sheens. It's under, over, in between. And then, oh, that one. So Z and K. From rock to field, from strong to stream, past tree and post to forest green, arrive you now where beauty sheens, it's under, over, in between. And I should have mentioned earlier, obviously there was an apostrophe here before, and now it's not there. I know some of the punctuation doesn't go through, like apostrophe specifically, because that's what's used to show if it's going to be text versus not text. So that one's a little different. But yeah, if you go back, we've just switched this from that to the actual answer here, which is essentially the solve for this. Now again, where this is actually, where the treasure box is, I don't know. It's still not solved. I know others have done this portion of the puzzle, but we don't know exactly where it is or what that means. So I know there's going to be more to it than just this. But anyway, hopefully you find this interesting and helpful. It's been a fun, I love puzzles, and I think that's why I liked Google Sheets, just because there's a lot of different ways to actually get to the same, conclusion. It's kind of a puzzle in Sheets. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Do those YouTube things like share, subscribe, and let me know what you think, or if you have some ideas of what this could be for that treasure. Anyway, see you in the next one. Bye now.